How's it going? Welcome back to Music for Mere Mortals. Today we're going to talk about the relationship between some scales, namely the pentatonic, the major, and the natural minor. So the pentatonic is the 5-note scale, and it is that thing on which we're going to build stuff on. It's our superstructure. So in a pentatonic major scale, we have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 5, a 6, and then back to 1. So this interval between E and G is 1.5 steps, and the interval between A and C is 1.5 steps. Now, if we want to make it a diatonic scale, we add our 4th and our 7th. So then you come up with this arrangement of steps. You have a full step, half a step, a full, half, or I just call it the step tool, and it's just step, half step, step, half step. Now, it's worth memorizing that because that's the major scale. And like I said, that's the big daddy. Now we're going to talk about the minor scale. And for today's purposes, just the natural minor. There are actually 3 minor scales, but we're just going to talk about the natural one today, and that will be the subject of another video or two. If you're asking a jazz guy, what is a minor scale? They will say it is the major scale with a flat 3, a flat 6, and a flat 7. What they're doing is they're comparing the rearranged C scale beginning on A with the A major scale and seeing what the difference is. And the difference is flat 3, flat 6, flat 7. There's an easier way to think about it. All a minor scale is the major scale beginning on the 6th. So we're going to take this 6 down here and make it the 1 of the minor scale. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to leave this bit here, start here, and take this and tack it on the end here. So we're going to go A, B, C, D, E, F, like that. All right? So this is what we're doing down here. So here's our natural minor. And so now we've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And if you'll notice what it does that makes this thing really interesting and gives the minor scale its characteristics is we've moved the half steps. Instead of them occurring between the 3rd and the 4th and the 7 and the 1, they now occur between the 2 and the 3 and the 5 and the 6. Another interesting thing is we can fool our minds into thinking where home is. Now, we think of a C major as, okay, home is the C, the root, the tonic note. But we can start from any one of these things and make the chord that each scale degree builds. In this case, we have an A minor. We can make that home. We're still, and if we can do that with any one of those notes, we're still playing with C major notes. So I like to think of a minor scale as just a major scale starting on the 6th. All right, so what's easier? Now, when I was shown what a minor scale is here, so what I had to do is I had to think of a scale, the major scale, and then I had to go, okay, what's the 3? And I had to flatten it. What's the 6? And I had to flatten it. And that for me was much more cumbersome than thinking of it as just a major scale. Because with this one, you still have to think of, with this method here, I guess, you sort of have to still think of a major scale and flattening all these notes. But if you think of it as a different major scale starting on the 6th, that for me was easier. You see this term relative minor bandied about. And A relative minor is the minor key that is like the relative minor of C is A minor. It's just the sixth. That's all it is. And when you start on the sixth, or make the sixth chord home, it's really not any different, because we're still using all these same notes. So to call it a different key is a little bit misleading. Minor keys are really just a thing that we call modes. And I like to use C here because it's simpler. Then I can begin to learn the neck. And if we remember that B and C are a half step and E and F are a half step, we can easily figure out the scale as we're going. It also will cement the concept of how the strings are related. I want to emphasize that it is the rearranging of these half steps that gives the minor scale its character. And we can rearrange them in another 6 ways, because we can start this scale or rearrange it and use any one of these scale degrees as the first note. And that's when we'll get into modes. The minor is just a mode of C. A minor is just a mode of C. I'll explain that later. But the reason why we give minor the status of key is not really because it's a key. It's because we just use it a lot. And so I think that developed as a shorthand way of thinking about the Aeolian mode, which is what it's called in modal terms. But it is really just a rearrangement of a major scale. There's nothing different between this scale and this scale except where you start. Okay? Let's get to the guitar. We're looking at the relationship between scales. So we're going to start with our pentatonic benchmark, which is pattern 2, because pattern 2 has the tonic note or the root note, which it is the first note you play on the fat E string. All right, so we're doing the C major scale. So we're going to do, and we play these are the scale degrees: 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, and 2. That's our pentatonic. Now what we're missing is the 4th and the 7th. And the 4th and the 7th are involved in those half step things. So we're going to go from 1 to 2 is a step, and from 2 to 3 is a step. Now this note is the same. So a step here, that's the same. So this, this from here to here is a step. On these first 4 strings that are tuned to fourths, perfect fourths, like that's a fourth. So the fourth to this note, relative to this note, is always below it. On the B string, however, which is tuned to a minor third, it's not right below it. It's 1 step closer to the body. So this would be the 4th here. I don't know if this thing's in tune or not. Anyways, we're not going to worry about that right now. So let's put those fourths in there. So that's the relationship between the strings, and you'll get used to this being a step from here to here. All right, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And there's our major scale. Okay, built on the pentatonic pattern that we're using as our superstructure. Now, the other thing we've wanted to talk about in this video is the relationship between the major and the minor, the natural minor scale. So what I said in the explanation part of this video was that the minor scale is just the major scale starting on the 6th note. So when we're doing C, and we're going to use C because there's no sharps or flats in it, it's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now, if we start on the 6th, which is an A, we can go backwards from the 1. Okay, so this is a C to the 7th, which is a half step away, to the 6th, which is A. So if we just use the notes, because these are easier to understand or remember, because they have no sharps or flats, it's just basically talking about your alphabet. Then, and knowing the relationships between the notes and the strings, our half steps are between E and F and B and C. Everything else is a step. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. So there's our minor scale. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And notice how we had to move this one, instead of being a fourth below, we had to move it up to here. All right. Now, that minor scale is built on pentatonic pattern 1. Because the root note of A minor is A, and it occurs first on the E string in that pattern. That's why we use it as a benchmark. All right, so now one of the things I said, like we're doing this. So there's our minor pattern. Now you can choose to memorize that, or what I like to do is just go to the different A's rather than memorize. I mean, you'll memorize them by doing them. But I'm going to show you how to find them and how to derive them here. Okay, so here's an A. Where's your next A? Well, it's this open string here. So we got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. So there's one pattern for 2 octaves of minor. Let's see what happens when we use this D instead of this D, the open D. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Next A. Well, we've got an A here, but let's not worry about that one. Where's A occur on this string here? So A, B, C, D, E, F. Now you'd think G would be here, but it's not. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, half step, G, A. All right, and you can go and find, and you can do it for these ones as well down here. Like we could go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. So there's one octave of that, and then we can just do, all the way to this A again. So anyway, there you go. That's the relationship between these notes. If it helps you to think of the minor scale as having a flat 3, a flat 6, and a flat 7, all the more power to you. I thought I'd show you today, gives you an alternative method of thinking about the relationship between the major and the minor scale. Anyway, I hope this has been useful for you and that it has cleared some of the fog around the relationship between the scales. Okay, take care.